7 years ago, I walked into a gym that had gone out of business, and everyone had a theory about why. Maybe it was the bad area, maybe the pricing was off, maybe there was just too many competitors. But standing in that doorway, I knew something different. You see, gyms don't die because of towns or prices or because of competition. They die because the owners never had a system on how to keep it alive. And though it may have seemed like a crazy decision to some people, I knew this was exactly what I needed to do to change my life. Now, before I tell you the crazy thing that happened at that location, which happens to be where we're filming right now, I want to tell you a little bit about my backstory, about how I got here, because I haven't always been in the fitness industry. In fact, I started as a youth pastor. I traveled this nation helping teenagers in their walk with God, whether it be at a church or a conference center, or it be at a retreat for the teenagers. But eventually I ran out of money financially and needed something to be able to support my family. So I left ministry behind in order to start working at Aira Fitness, where I started at the very bottom of the food chain. And my job was to cold call people and try and get them to get a free personal training session. After about 4 months, I moved into an assistant manager position, then a manager position. And then the next thing you know, I get a phone call from the owner, and I am now a vice president of the company. And my role is to fix failing gyms, to recruit people, train people, and help people take over these other LA Fitness gyms and build them up and grow the revenue back. And after a long time of being there, it felt like something was off. I knew that I was building someone else's dream. I knew that I was building someone else's wealth. And at the end of the day, I don't get to see my daughter. I don't get to spend time with my wife. And it was really bothering me. And I did what probably would be the most unthinkable thing that somebody would do. I left. I didn't give a 2-week notice. I didn't give any heads up of what was going on. There was something inside of me that was burning and hurting, and I knew I needed to leave. And that's how the very first Aira Fitness was born. And then what happened was, after a few months later, we opened another gym, and we started filling that gym with a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of members. And then a few months later, we opened another gym. And then in our first year, we ended up opening up 10 gyms, taking the revenue we made from one, opening the second one, taking that revenue, opening a third one, taking that revenue. And the next thing we knew, we had all these gyms, and it was crazy to think that just one decision changed my entire life. And it changed it in such a beautiful way, not in the sense of just getting a bunch of money and revenue, but it came back to a place where I was finally able to spend time with my daughter, to give back to her, to love on her, to goof off with her, to play with her. And then I was also able now to be there for my wife, to go and travel with her and go see places we've never gotten to see before. And it's amazing how all of this happened just from that one crazy decision. And that's what leads me here today to speak with you. Because if there's something inside of you who's always dreamed of opening a gym, but you've had thoughts that it's too complicated or it's too expensive, then what I'm about to show you is going to absolutely blow your mind and hopefully begin for you what was for me a crazy decision that I'm never going to regret. You see, the reason why Aira Fitness works is because it's not a massive big box gym with crazy overhead and 20 employees and all this craziness that you got to manage. It's just a simple boutique style gym with beautiful colors and modern and clean and simple. And the crazy thing about our gyms is it's not a fitness business person who runs them for the most part. And it's not these people with deep pockets who have endless amounts of money who are opening gyms. It's crazy. It's because it's people like you, people like me. It's nurses, moms, dads, mothers, families opening these gyms and starting to build their legacy. And you know what the best part is? You're not doing any of this alone. When you open a gym with us, we walk you step by step. We help you find your space. We guide you in your launch. We help you get your first members, and we show you exactly how to run your gym without feeling overwhelmed. You're never guessing, you're never by yourself, and you have real people who care and who want to help you be successful. Now, even with a simple model and real support, there's still, for a lot of people, these fears inside, these myths that they believe that keep them from opening a gym. So before I go over the 3 steps that we guide everybody through to open a gym, I want to go over the 3 myths that keep people from opening gyms and see if we could help you understand better how it works and why it works, so that way you don't fall into that trap as well. So the first myth is that opening a gym costs way too much money. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you were to open up a gym on your own, it's true. A big gym usually costs between $150,000 to $300,000 to, you have bigger gyms like Planet Fitness that are $1 million, $3 million to open. And yeah, the reality is if you go that route, it can be that expensive, but Aira wasn't built that way. Our model doesn't go that way. We don't need a giant space. We don't need massive build outs, and we don't need a load of 40 treadmills and ellipticals and unnecessary equipment. Our model is intentionally lean and affordable. And according to our franchise disclosure document, our current startup range begins at $49,000, depending on your lease and your build out. It's still a real investment, but finally a number that real families can actually work with. Now, the second myth that people believe that keeps them ever from opening a gym is that they believe that, well, I don't have any experience in the fitness industry. And what's crazy about this is that most of our owners have 0 business experience, and most of them have 0 fitness background. They didn't need experience. They just needed a simple model that was affordable, and they needed people alongside them to help them and show them exactly what they needed to do to be successful. And the last myth that people believe that keep them from opening a gym is that they think it's really risky. And it's true. If you were to open a gym on your own, it would be risky. One wrong build out, one wrong lease negotiation, one wrong contract that was signed by a member who came back and sued you. And yeah, it could be a very risky business, but that's exactly why Aira Fitness exists. Is we've already done the hard part. We've already made the mistakes. We've already tested the systems. We've already built the launch plan, and we already figured out the ads in the funnel. This model removes so much of the guesswork that makes gyms feel risky. So now that we know the myths that keep people from opening a gym, the next step is, what is the next steps? What's it look like if I were to open my own gym? What is a process your franchisees follow, Mike? And I want to show you guys 3 things that you need to do that took me from 1 gym to 10 gyms in my first year. So your first step in opening a gym is finding the right space. And now where people go wrong here is that they find something that's on a crazy corner that's super expensive, and they got this huge 10,000 square foot space or 20,000 square foot space, and then they go out of business because they don't have enough members. What makes Aira Fitness unique is we're looking between 800 and 3,000 square feet of space. That's what's called a vanilla box, where it's pretty much open and there's not much of a build out that doesn't cost you money. And then the second thing that we do with these spaces is that we negotiate what's called tenant improvement allowance. Our goal is to get the landlord to pay you money to open your gym. For instance, I had once a building owner give me a check for $60,000 to open my 3rd gym. For my 2nd gym, I had a landlord give me a $40,000 check to open my 2nd gym. We've had building owners give some of our franchisees an entire year of free rent. We've had others give 6 months of free rent. We had others combine both of those. And we've had landlords pay for complete build out where they knocked down the walls and built the gyms for them. And so the key is finding a space that's affordable, getting the landlords to build out the space for you. That's what keeps things lean and cheap and keeps your expenses from being through the roof and causing you to go out of business. One of my most profitable locations sits next to a vape shop and an empty laundromat. Rent is about $1,000 a month, and members don't join because of the strip mall. They join because of what happens inside the gym. You're not hunting for real estate by yourself. You're doing it with our eyes and our lease scripts behind you. Now, after you've found your space, the next most important thing that you need to be able to do to launch a successful gym is market. And this is where most people go wrong and why most gyms go out of business, because at the end of the day, it only comes down to 3 things: having enough leads, having enough appointments, and having to be able to make sales from those leads and appointments. But most people don't know how to generate leads. On average, when we launch a franchisee in any territory that we've been to, they've averaged about 300 leads in their first month by following following the systems and the processes that we've created. I've spent over $1 million on ads, testing out different ads that work, that don't work, finding out what is going to make it easier for you to get people to come to your gym. Because at the end of the day, what matters most is you being able to get people to want to come to your gym and try it out. So you found your space, you got ads running, and you got leads coming into your business. And now the third step on how to have a successful gym is learning how to convert those and knowing how to price your system. Now, I'm not telling you that you're going to make $1 million. In fact, anyone who says that is you should probably run from, but I wanted to give you guys a scenario on how it works and how the math works. Not saying that you're going to personally do this. Obviously, every area is different and every person is different. It's just like saying if you were to go to Harvard, not everybody who goes to Harvard is going to get an A in every single class or get a job. The reality is that your success is dependent on your willingness to work and your willingness to follow the systems. But for example, let's say you did hit our average that we want all of our franchisees to be hitting, and it's getting 300 leads in your first month. And let's say you hit our industry, what we're trying to hit as an average of 30%. That means you would have had 90 new members join in month 1. Now we push all of our franchisees to get to about $200 as an average upfront sale between first month, last month, and enrollment. And if you were to do that on 30% of those leads, that would have given you $18,000 in upfront revenue. Now, again, that's not a promise that you're going to get that, but it's just showing you what's possible when you follow a system, follow a process, and hit specific targets that we're encouraging everyone to hit. And that $18,000 doesn't include getting people to pay for the year in full. It doesn't include personal training, and it doesn't include bootcamp revenue either. So as you can see, when you find a good space where your rent is cheap and you have a way to generate an endless amount of leads for your business, and now you have a process to be able to take those leads and turn them into paying numbers, this is how you build a future for yourself. This is how you impact the community. This is how you have a successful gym. And this isn't theory. Owners all across the United States are using our exact system right now, opening gyms, being successful, and building their futures and having the revenue that they've always wanted to have in their life. Imagine 6 months from now, walking into your own gym at sunrise, the lights turning on, your members showing up, and knowing that you built this. So here's what happens next. If any of this is resonating with you and you're feeling like, man, I think I do want to open a gym, your next step is to book a call with us. On that call, we're going to go over your timeline. We're going to go over your city and make sure that it would make sense to open a gym there. We're going to go over your budget and funding different options. And heck, we'll go over everything and see if it makes sense for you, if it fits the lifestyle that you're trying to move forward in. And if it doesn't, we'll tell you. We'll be like, man, I don't think this is a good fit. If it is a good fit for you, and we do think that this would be a great possibility for you, we'll also tell you that, and then we'll walk you through the next steps of what it looks like to open a gym and how to go about doing it. You're never alone in this process. We're with you every step of the way, from the moment that you have a call with us to the moment you're shaking hands with your very first member at your gym and opening the doors. So go ahead, click the link below if that's you. We look forward to talking to you.